We've all been there. You're sitting at a bistro and you take a bite of something incredible, maybe a perfectly glazed duck or a pasta with a sauce you just can't place. And you immediately think, wow, I could definitely make this at home.
Right, but then you get home and you stare at your pantry and realize you absolutely cannot. I mean, you have the inspiration, but zero actual information.
Exactly. It's the classic culinary dead end. But today, we're doing a deep dive into a piece of tech that claims to bridge that exact gap between eating and understanding. We're looking at the Snap and Savor Kitchen Vision overview from Nexus AI.
Yeah, and specifically, we're focusing on their flagship feature, which is called Recipe by Photo. The source material positions this as a new kitchen companion, but honestly, reading through the documentation, it feels a lot more like a reverse engineering tool for food.
That's the really interesting part to me. Because, we've had image recognition for a while. You point your phone at a flower in the garden and it tells you it's a tulip. But the sources here suggest Nexus AI is doing something fundamentally different. It's not just labeling the object. You just snap a picture of any dish and it goes way beyond that.
It's the difference between simple identification and actual reconstruction. Standard computer vision stops at telling you, this is a hamburger.
Right.
But according to the documentation, Nexus AI analyzes the visual textures, the sheen of the sauce, the char on the vegetables, to actually generate a full, complete list of ingredients.
And not just what's in it, but how to assemble it. That was the huge standout for me in the source material. The overview claims it generates step-by-step cooking instructions just from the pixel data.
Which is a massive technical leap.
It really is. It's moving from labeling the world to actually giving you an instruction manual for it.
Yeah, it implies the AI understands the physics of cooking. Like if the crust looks a certain way, it must have been baked at a specific temperature for a specific amount of time. It turns a static image into a dynamic guide.
Now, for the health-conscious listeners out there, there's another layer here. The source mentions that this visual analysis also outputs a calorie calculation right alongside the recipe.
Which makes total sense if it's already estimating the ingredients. If the AI detects the density of a sauce or the fat content based on those visual cues, it can theoretically extrapolate the nutritional profile. It essentially turns a mystery meal into a data set.
So where does Nexus actually see this being used in the real world? The documents explicitly mention that restaurant scenario we started with, turning a night out into a cooking lesson.
That's definitely the primary use case. But they also highly highlight print media. So if you're flipping through a glossy food magazine and you see a beautiful dish with no recipe attached, the idea is that you aren't left guessing anymore.
It's a pretty bold promise. They say your next favorite meal is just one photo away. It essentially removes the friction of ignorance.
Exactly. You don't need to know what a bechamel is to recognize it anymore, because the tool does the heavy lifting for you. It democratizes culinary knowledge and streamlines that whole path from inspiration to execution.
Making sure you're completely informed about what is on your plate, whether you cooked it yourself or ordered it.
Right.
And here's where I want to push back a little bit.
Hey,
If we take their claim at face value that this works on literally any dish,
I think I know exactly where you're going with this.
it forces us to ask a really difficult question. Think about this. If a smartphone can instantly decode ingredients and techniques just by looking at a plate, does the concept of a secret family recipe effectively cease to exist?
That is the ultimate friction point, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a world of perfect visual analysis, there are really no culinary secrets left.
Something to chew on the next time you snap a picture of your dinner. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.